My violent friends, welcome and prepare yourselves for the great return of the Chechen mutant himself, Khamzat Chimaev, fresh off of, just ripping Dricus Duplessis limb from limb. Who could forget that, absolute bloodbath? He's here to take on Captain America himself. It's simple Sean Strickland with, the jab all dialed in, ready to go. Teep kick at the ready. It's chambered, locked and loaded here with Sean Strickland, folks. This one's really special because this one has some genuine, I wouldn't even call it beef. I'd call it genuine hatred between the two. It is important to mention the one time Khamzat Chimaev was on a press conference against Gilbert Burns, he was sort of playing this, I kill everybody, character up there. And then Gilbert Burns, absolutely clowned him in the fight. So, since then, he's been much more reserved, pretty soy in all honesty, soft-spoken now, a measured young man now. After that Gilbert Burns fight, he just completely changed. So, absolutely, this is round one aggro versus Sean Strickland, who sort of is a war of attrition guy, death by 1,000 teep kicks. I think the Israel Adesanya performance really overrated Strickland. If Jack Hermansson can get a split decision against Sean Strickland, I really think Khamzat Chimaev can win a decision as well. Unless you completely self-sabotage, Strickland's not going to finish you. It just doesn't happen. Yeah, we're going to go Khamzat Chimaev reluctantly. He is a Chechen mutant, and obviously, there'll be some diehard, retards on the side of Strickland here, but I just can't pick him in good faith. I'm giving you the game on Chimaev. So yeah, I think it's pretty cut and dry. It's going to be, all the promos going to come out. It's going to be showcased as this, these two are just destructive badasses. Get ready for, fight of the century. But no, it's going to be body lock, bring Strickland to the ground, just hump all over him. Don't get your sub, rinse and repeat for 5 rounds. So that's how I see it going. Strickland lacks, real fight-ending power or even just power to, change the tide of a fight. He really relies on, his opponent to go through, some major panic attack, self-sabotage for him to, really take over and get a TKO. The Anthony Hernandez, knee to the weed gut, that was a thing of beauty, but that's also 1 in a million. Khamzat Chimaev is in way better shape than a Hernandez, pushes a way more furious pace, actually has power. So I'm going to go with him. I'm not a Khamzat Chimaev fan by any means, but this seems like a matchup where he can just, go smurfing. Strickland is super readable, super predictable, literally comes out and looks the exact same in every fight, has overrated jiu-jitsu, after the motorcycle accident, he ain't rolling, he ain't doing no BJJ in there, hasn't had a submission since 2009, so don't get your hopes up there. I'm just imagining the Sean Strickland training camp right now, and it's 100% him just trying to play catch-up and get ready to deal with the round one onslaught coming his way, but what I don't think he's going to be ready for is Khamzat Chimaev all over him in 2, 3, 4, and 5. I think Khamzat Chimaev knows now that he's at the level where he just can't manifest these, round one destructions anymore because he's not fighting cans. Is going to be able to exploit Sean Strickland's, not weakness, but, definitely not his preferred area of fighting. I think he'll just do that every round, and it'll be the most boring fight of all time. I'm talking body locks, not even takedowns, just, clinch grinding all over the cage, little mat returns, Strickland can't break the grip, or then he does, and then Khamzat shoots again, back to the grip. Holy, this is middleweight, guys. Strickland is not our savior in this fight. It's going to take one of these new age middleweights to take him out. I would love to apply some Fighting Nerds glaze here and say Caio Bahayo is the man to take out Khamzat Chimaev, but I think the middleweight division is about to become fucking dreadful because I don't think Imavov beats him. Brendan Allen trains with him now. He's all buddy-buddy with him, sucking his toes, giving him probably game plan tips on how to beat Strickland because Allen's been in there with Strickland. Caio Bahayo, not going to beat him, has Phantom BJJ. A smart guy, a good game planner, good, well-rounded fighter. I love Caio Bahayo, but I don't think he can pull off this bigger Gilbert Burns type performance and get a brawl out of Chimaev. He's too smart now. I don't think he's dangerous enough off his back to actually intimidate Chimaev in the grappling. I think Chimaev would just pass his guard and deal with him that way. Joe Pyfer got taken down by Jack Hermansson, so no. If you're a real hardcore, you've seen that clip of Khamzat Chimaev versus Jack Hermansson wrestling match where the whole joint's just completely, like, hot-boxed, like the weirdest shit I've ever seen. Anthony Hernandez, no. Rainer de Ridder is probably moving to 205. The dude's just got such a Frankenstein frame. He's killing himself doing middleweight. Adesanya's done. Whitaker's up to 205 fighting Krylov. Like, I'm dead serious. Khamzat Chimaev has killed this division. I don't think anybody can beat him right now. This division's dead for the next several years, in my opinion. So, sorry to be all doom and gloom for the Strickland enjoyers out there, but Strickland is absolutely playing catch-up in his training camp right now, trying to get ready for Khamzat, and I don't think it's going to be enough. Like, Strickland totally lacks, like, the fight-ending power to, like, make me excited about this matchup, or, like, even just the striking arsenal to, like, change the tide of battle. Like, Strickland doesn't have a good enough calf kick. He doesn't throw body shots. Like, I know he took out Anthony Hernandez. Like, the knee is what started it, the knee to the weed gut. Strickland exclusively throws jabs to the head and teep kicks to the body. Those can't change the tides of battle. That can't shift momentum like we need it to here. So Khamzat Chimaev's going to be all over him. That's how I see it. I've seen these grappling dominations before. You have as well of these OVs, these IEVs. You have to be like a roided up Brazilian with like bodybuilder genetics. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, Gilbert Burns gave Chimaev problems. Gleison Tibau gave Khabib problems. That is their kryptonite. Adriano Moraes knocked out Islam Makhachev. Like, it's going to take a Brazilian to get this done. So maybe Caio Borralho is the man to do it. Maybe Carlos Prates knocks out Islam Makhachev and then just moves up and KOs Khamzat and becomes, like, the greatest fighter of all time. That is the kind of copium I'm huffing. So I'm going to go Chimaev. Anyone picking Strickland is delusional and, quite honestly, just doesn't understand the absolute rapage he's in for. So, Khamzat Chimaev by decision, the most boring shit you've ever seen. Just ripping Strickland limb from limb. This guy, I kill everybody. The wolf. He's a wolf, guys. Have you seen the edits making him look so cool? God, dude. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, people move on so quickly and like to, like, rewrite history of this sport. Like, it's pretty cut and dry. Now that Khamzat Chimaev is facing the elite level, he's not getting finishes anymore. He is not a finisher at the elite level. He's a great fighter at the elite level, but to do so, his fights are boring as all get out, and Strickland's not much better, in all honesty. Like, unless his opponent, like, completely self-sabotages, like Abus Magomedov, even Israel Adesanya just frozen in place that whole fight, like, I just won't do it. I won't do it. I've seen Dricus du Plessis take down Sean Strickland on repeat, basically whenever he wanted to, and there's a clip out there, like, guys, Submission Underground 29, Strickland did a grappling match after his fight with Uriah Hall, and he was, like, showboating to the crowd, and this guy, Andy Varela, whoever this guy is, jumped on his back and submitted him. Like, I know obviously that's not going to happen in this, it's a title fight, he's going to be composed, but, like, Strickland could be submitted for the first time, and, like, that would impress me. I don't think that happens. I think Chimaev is too content to just rinse and repeat and, like, body lock people. He's not going to risk losing dominant position and go for a submission here. If he does, that'll impress me, and I'll change my tune, and I might start enjoying him as champion. Like, I enjoyed him when he was a contender, but I'm not going to get my hopes up on this main event. It's going to be marketed as these two killers with bad blood. Like, I saw that, like, that AI promo by, like, I forget the channel, but, like, Cage Culture, I think it was. Like, it's going to be such a stark difference to be, like, finally get to the main event, watch the fight, and it be the most boring shit you've ever seen. So I'm gonna go Chimaev by snoozer, by decision, by the whole crowd booing him, and Strickland, you know, looking the worst he's ever looked. This one right here is for the 2000s kids, alright? 24 years old, champion Joshua Van, taking on the best. I'm happy, thank you, Tatsuro Taira. That needs to be his fighter nickname. I want to hear Bruce Buffer have to read that out. Guys, I flipped again. I actually flipped again. We're going to go with Joshua Van. I can't help but fence sit this matchup. And, like, can you really blame me? Like, Tapology is almost a 50-50 split. Way too many people picking Van by KO. This is so tough. I can literally see all 6 methods going down. I can see either guy by KO submission or decision. That is how close this fight is. I remember when it was first announced, it was Tatsuro Taira as a massive favorite, but then the betting lines, like, went all the way down to evens, and that was like, then they scrapped it, and then it got rebooked again, and then it got canceled again, and now we're here with Van as the champion, so this fight has really been through a lot. This is going to be such a fun fight. We're going to see if Joshua Van can hold up to the grappling onslaught of Tatsuro Taira early. That wrestling physicality is no joke. He just completely manhandled Brandon Moreno, but, you know, as we see, that's not the greatest win anymore after Brandon Moreno almost looked geriatric against Loner Kavanaugh. So when you really strip apart the resume of Taira, it's sort of weak sauce. It's like Edgar Chairez, Carlos Hernandez. These guys aren't great. Jesus Aguilar, like, these are bottom feeders. He has an Alex Perez win that he looked great in, and then Hyungsung Park Moreno. So, like, if you're picking Taira, you're literally clinging to, like, the Moreno finish. And I guess Peace of Mind Park, like the face crank, that was a flawless victory, to be fair. And then the decision loss to Brandon Royval, the pillow puncher, like, dude, you have clear evidence that Joshua Van hits harder, is a better striker, more athletic than Royval, so, like, Taira needs to be leveled up here to beat Van. Like, Van from a couple years ago might be able to beat Tatsuro Taira. That's kind of why I'm picking him. Like, Joshua Van has been Mr. Active. Like, he's been doing 3 fights a year. Meanwhile, Tatsuro Taira's been doing 2 fights a year. I understand it's harder for him to, you know, get fights, because I think he's straight out of Japan, trains in Japan, doesn't do no cross-training, so Taira's right there with him in terms of, like, young hunger, so this could be one of the best flyweight fights of all time. Flyweight is slowly turning into my favorite division. I think it is my favorite division just because of how terrible it used to be during the DJ reign and, like, the Reebok era. Like, it was unwatchable, completely unwatchable, and now I genuinely care about everybody in the top 15, like, except for Amir Albazi. No, this fight's gonna be sick, man. Joshua Van is still the volume king of the UFC, just dishing out boxing like none other. Taira does have a power advantage, but it's only because he's, like, that much bigger. Like, what are the heights here? We got Joshua Van at 5'5", Tatsuro Taira is 5'7", and has, like, a 5-inch reach advantage. He's going to appear, he might mog Joshua Van in terms of physicality, and that I am worried about. But the reason I'm going to cave and go Joshua Van after calling him a fake champ, look, does he deserve to have the title wrapped around him? No. Okay, we had our fun. We got the belt off of the Unk and got it on the 2000s kid. I love that moment because we picked him and everything. This should be for, like, a vacant belt, in my opinion. Like, injuries, I don't know. I don't know. I still don't know how I feel about that. So Joshua Van with a bit of, like, fake aura being a title holder. But the reason I'm going with Joshua Van here, guys, is because I think he's going to just excel so much in 5-round fights. Whereas we've seen Tatsuro Taira against Brandon Royval do his first 5-rounder, and he still looked like a prospect. Like, that's what a prospect looks like in their first 5-round opportunity. Starts to slow down, faces adversity, sort of gets exposed round by round. I know it was close, but that wasn't a good look from Taira. Seeing as Manel Cap just flattened Royval in about, like, 2 minutes. Tatsuro Taira, I love him, dude, but he's not the greatest stand-up fighter, and this is 5 rounds. He cuts a shitload of weight. Joshua Van has a 5-round style. He literally is like Piotr Jan, where they, like, literally take the first round off and just ramp up as the fight goes on. It's such a unique style to watch, and that's how I see it going. Taira needs a first-round finish, or he's absolutely fucked, I think. That's the conclusion I've came to. I'm picking Joshua Van with the Myanmar mountain cardio base. I swear I was the first one to talk about it, but I think he might be genuinely better than, like, Mini Holloway. Like, he will be the first Joshua Van. No Holloway comparisons, all right? He's the first fighter out of Myanmar. It's a high elevation country. This dude's like a Burma foot soldier. Joshua Van is literally an athletic freak. He has great takedown defense. Just dealt with Ray Saruya. Stuffed. How many takedowns he stuffed? He stuffed 17 takedowns from Ray Saruya. So, like, if Taira takes, like, this Marab, like, spammy volume approach way of doing takedowns, Van has seen it before. He 30-27'd that. Just complete takedown spammer, Ray Saruya. So, but I think Joshua Van is athletic enough to avoid that, get through these early rounds, and just dish out volume on TAIRA. And we see TAIRA break as it goes on. Like, Van just does too much body work, really. He just rips to the body too much. They're punches and bunches, and that's going to gas TAIRA out. Like, TAIRA's going to hang tough, he really is, but Van is going to run away with at least rounds 3, 4, and 5. With body work, avoids being submitted in the early rounds. It's a fight I've flip-flopped on, but Joshua Van is going to get it done. My co-main events go crazy, I never get them wrong. Joshua Van's got the boxing, he's got the insane cardio, and as long as he can survive rounds 1 and 2 from TAIRA, he'll be able to pull away. We got a heavyweight feature fight, Alexander Volkov, Drago, taking on Waldo Cortez Acosta. Dude, I'm finally gonna cave and just go with Waldo here, purely off of hand speed, purely off of momentum. Look, I think a lot of people are going to get suckered into picking Volkov here because they're in their feelings, because people forget Volkov, kickstarted the release of Jailton Almeida and got him out of the UFC, so all respect to you, good sir, for that. And so we think of Alexander Volkov, right, and we think, oh, just this skyscraper heavyweight, just destroyer of worlds, like went close, arguably beat Cyril Gane, fucked up Pavlovich, fluked Rosenstruik. Waldo Cortez Acosta has the hand speed advantage here. He nearly has the reach of Volkov, being so much shorter, with faster feet and faster hands. Why do I think Waldo Cortez Acosta just outboxes Volkov? I just see that happening. He's younger, he's faster, I think he's more athletic. If Waldo just picks up the aggro here, I can see him TKOing Volkov just because he's faster. That's literally it. Like, Pavlovich wasn't fast. Cyril Gane packs no power, honestly. Aspinall didn't try to KO Volkov, he took him down and armbarred him. I'm actually going to pick Waldo Cortez Acosta by TKO. He's embarrassed me so many times when I've tried to fade him. I give up. I'm done. I'm going Waldo here. You will not embarrass me again, and if you do, you'll get finished by Volkov or schooled. So, like, sort of a hate-based pick, but actually sort of found some advantages I like here for Waldo, so I'm gonna pick him. Volkov's been here for like over a decade. We know his level. Waldo's the guy with the momentum right now, with a bit of mystery around him, all right? He's gonna go out there and, wing some baseballs and take off the head of this Russian. The skyscraper Volkov is going down. It's gonna be a shock to everyone, but if Derek Lewis can KO Volkov, Waldo can as well, okay? I think you bit off more than you can chew with the salsa boy here, so gimme Waldo Cortez Acosta by TKO in the first round. Up next at welterweight, we got a really interesting clash of styles. We got Sean Brady taking on Numansa Joaquin Buckley. Two guys that were on some really serious momentum before they found out just how stacked welterweight is. You literally need to be a striking savant like Carlos Prates or Ian Gary, or just Islam Makhachev level grappling. So these two found out the hard way. They're coming off of losses. Sean Brady, we picked to lose to Michael Morales because Morales is the size of a 205er, and Joaquin Buckley fought Kamaru Usman and lost by decision. It's been a really long time since we've seen Buckley. He was cooking with fights. He was fighting basically every 3 months, every 2 months, in 2024 and 2025 until he finally got out-wrestled, got sort of checked by a former champion. A loss to Usman is nothing to really, hang your head at, but we did see Buckley get out-wrestled, and that's a real possibility here against Sean Brady, who is an educated grappler, shoots at the right times, goes for the right submissions, knows how to maintain control, and the Belal loss is a strange one because Belal's striking is quite pitiful. It's high volume, but it's low power, and that was able to get a standing TKO against Brady. I don't think Brady takes power well, but like every other avenue of fighting, I think Sean Brady's great. I really do. I think Brady, if he was just tougher, was a little bit bigger, a little bit tougher, maybe like less muscle and just bigger frame, we'd see Sean Brady really go far, but he's lightweight sized, and I think Joaquin Buckley can hold his ground, stuff a couple of takedowns, and just get creative on the feet. Like, Joaquin Buckley is really capable of violence. Like, the knockout over Wonder Boy is beautiful. That's such a nasty KO. It really is. Yeah, Joaquin Buckley, though, better game plan accordingly, because the way to beat him absolutely is wrestling. He obviously beat Colby Covington because he's a physical wimp who, like, doesn't cut weight, just walks around at, like, 170, and so he did get, like, just bitched by Joaquin Buckley in that fight. But you see against Usman, a properly sized, like, still capable, like, former welterweight GOAT Usman is. He's experienced enough, smart enough, and physical enough to get it done against Buckley. I don't think Brady has all those boxes checked necessarily. Like, he's a little bit too much of a glass cannon. Like, Brady should have really pushed for a Colby Covington matchup. That's a fight I think he can win. Buckley has just a bit too much firepower, okay? He's knocked out middleweights. Like, I just see Buckley sneaking through some unorthodox shit here and sitting Brady down, and maybe he doesn't KO Sean Brady, but he will absolutely win some rounds here just off that power striking. Brady is technical for sure, but his striking is a means to an end, just sort of like to open up takedowns and stuff like this. Yeah, I would give lightweight a try if he can't beat this, if he can't win this one. So I'm gonna go Joaquin Buckley. It's a close fight. Sean Brady has methods to victory here. We've seen Buckley taken down before, but I value the power striking and the creativity on the feet. We'll go decision. I think Brady, I'm not giving him enough credit. I don't think he's like that much of a glass cannon. I think he had like a broken nose against Bilal, and Michael Morales is just a fucking mutant. Walks around like a 205er. So we're going to go Joaquin Buckley getting the bounce back victory here over Sean Brady. And then after this, he can fight Jack Della Maddalena after his leg is all healed up and he's back and ready to go. I think that's a fun fight at welterweight. Up next, we have the King, King Green, taking on Jeremy Stephens. What is Jeremy Stephens doing back here? He's a bare-knuckle guy, just collecting bonus checks because he's out of his physical prime, not good at fighting. 29-22 is his professional record. King Green is going to piece him up. I know Jeremy Stephens had a okay fight against Mason Jones, landed some power, and if he lands power on King Green, he just might go down. King Green, not the greatest of chins, but I see why this is on the main card. It's for King Green to masterclass Jeremy Stephens on the feet with like a crazy boxing display, or for Jeremy Stephens to land a massive big bomb and sleep Green. So might be like a head scratcher as to why this is on the main card. These are not prospects. These are geriatrics. These are not elite fighters. But this is a great matchup, and I'm happy it's here, and I'm happy to talk about it. So, King Green is fresh off of just piecing up Daniel Zellhuber, 86 strikes to 17. That was an unbelievable shocker to me. I thought Daniel Zellhuber was just getting going in his career, but no, he is damaged goods at like 26 years of age. It is really unfortunate how his career's played out after the Esteban Ribovics war at UFC Noche. King Green's going to enter the Matrix. Jeremy Stephens will not win this fight. There's no way. He is so slow. He is so limited. He is only a power puncher. And like that was enough to be good back in like 2010. Easy 30-27 decision without a doubt in my mind. Please don't get fluked. Jeremy Stephens is on like an 8-fight losing streak in MMA. Why is the UFC re-signing him? Like, I guess just name value, but it's like, we don't need him here. So checked out of the game, just a dumb meathead. So give me King Green by boxing masterclass. Headlining the UFC 328 prelims is Ateba Gautier versus Ozzy Diaz. The one that got away, right? We just had to see this one. The matchmakers were thinking, man, dude, we can't let Gautier move on with his career without the Ozzy Diaz test. So here it comes. 5 fights into the UFC, and it's still just teeing up Gautier for like KO layups. And I picked Pulev to beat Ateba Gautier in his last fight, and it's the first time he went to decisions. So No, that was a legit prediction, man. I thought Gautier would get figured out by like an actually capable, like long-rangey Russian striker, but Puliev's just too malnourished and didn't have the power edge needed, but like his skill held up. Like he avoided the power of Gautier, was spearing him with decent little kicks and moving around, landing his own counter shots, just too malnourished. Too malnourished. If he was just a little bit bigger, had a little bit more water and durability, maybe could have held up to the Gautier power and like held his ground a bit better, but he was just constantly being backed down by Gautier, who's hyper aggressive and just insanely athletic. So yeah, Ozzy Diaz is dead. He's dead. He's going to get knocked out in this matchup instantly by Gautier. We don't need to see this fight. Gautier is better than him in every single sense of striking. Speed, power, everything. This dude's probably ready for like the Christian Leroy Duncans and stuff like this. Like that would be a competitive fight, but instead we're here teeing him up for layups against Ozzy Diaz, the great destroyer of worlds. So fuck you, matchmakers, making me sit through this and break this down. On to the next. It's obviously a Gautier KO. Up next is Yoel Alvarez versus Yaroslav Amosov. Amosov is a next-level grappler, and his grappling style is really unique to me because normally when we see like wrestlers, we see like heavily muscled, and they're like coming for big blast double legs and stuff like this. Yaroslav Amosov is like a snake, man. He is slithery and he just constricts you and takes you out that way. Like really unassuming guy, doesn't look like a power threat, but he's like highly flexible. He's got good snappy kicks, good snappy punches. Really unique guy, but comes from Bellator. So that 29-1 record is quite fraudulent. Yoel Alvarez, on the other hand, is a Spanish destroyer. This dude has had a weird career, sort of a delayed career, a lot of canceled fights and injuries, so that's making me a little bit skeptical, but I'm gonna pick him to win here because Amosov is only one fight in, a Neil Magny fight that went pretty well for himself, but El Fenomeno here is proven in the UFC, and I can trust him to be dangerous and try to take out Amosov. This one's gonna be fun though, because Alvarez always brings danger on the feet, and even on the ground, I think this will be such a fun little grappling battle where it's like who can submit who first, because Alvarez has chokes as well, dude. So like he'll be right there trying to grapple with Amosov, try and submit him. So I think we're in for a really fun competitive grappling fight where it's a game of cat and mouse in those scrambles. But I'm going to go Yoel Alvarez. We have Grant KGD Dawson taking on Mateusz Rebecki. Grant Dawson, I thought would be something, man. A couple years ago in like the beginning of the Apex era, dude, he cannot strike. How are you coming out of American Top Team and your striking looks like that against Manuel Torres? I understand Torres is really tall and packing a ton of power, a serious striking threat, so just the threat of that can make you seem like a wimpy bitch on the feet, but like Grant Dawson is a guy I can no longer trust. You're not cutting it at lightweight, man. Rebecki, I have trashed every single performance because he is just the biggest meathead of all time. Like he doesn't have strike defense, but it doesn't matter. He regenerates like fucking Wolverine. He has been smashed to bits time and time and time again. 3 fight of the nights in a row. This guy's built for war. I can trust him to show up. And still, his last win is the most attractive man in the UFC, Miktibek Oralbai, guys. Like, had a great anti-grappling performance there. Rebecki, if he can beat Oralbai, I think he can stop Dawson in his tracks and start to pour on his volume. Just smashing up Grant Dawson in the clinch, because Grant Dawson, dude, yes, you can out-hustle some guys, yes, you can sort of finesse them in jiu-jitsu, but I've never seen worse striking at lightweight than his striking was against Manuel Torres. I can't pick you again after that. We know where Grant Dawson's striking's at, so let's move on. I'm going to go Rebecki by decision. Up next, S-tier Unk fight. We have Jim Miller against Jared Gordon. You couldn't have scripted this better to get 2 Unks in there, scrapping it out. We got 42 years of age, going on 43 real soon. Jim Miller with a 38-19 record, fighting Jared Gordon, who's 37, battled through a horrific drug addiction, made it to the UFC. I got respect for Jared Gordon, but why are you not pulling out of your last fight after you were hit by a fucking motorcycle, you moron? Jared Gordon, you got hit by a moving vehicle, and you still fought Hoffa Garcia, and he KO'd you quite badly with ground and pound. It got bloody in there, Gordon, so like, I don't know. This is a decent little bounce back, though. Jim Miller, last time out, unanimous decision loss to Hooper. Not the greatest look. Jim Miller, I thought we'd see be fighting like Paddy Pimblett, knowing how protective they are of their golden boy Pimblett. Never retire, Jim Miller. You're going to make UFC 400, but Jared Gordon is going to beat you. He's just like a slightly better version of you. Moves better, trains at a good gym, has good coaches. He's not that dumb to where he'll just stick his head in your guillotine, so I'm going to go Jim Miller, I'm going to go Jared Gordon. As long as he doesn't get hit by a moving car and still shows up to fight, he's going to win by unanimous decision. Middleweight banger alert. Roman Kopylov steps in to take on Marco Tulio, who was brutally KO'd 5 months ago. Is that enough time to recover from being put in the grave by my boy Christian Leroy Duncan? People weren't wrong to pick Marco Tulio to win that because he does lay claim to a Yusri Belguri win, which is looking better and better by the day because Belguri's a savage. But other than that, Tulio's really fought nobody, and that's now the second KO loss of his career. He's been knocked out on regionals as well. Ihor Pateria, Trayshawn Gore. I mean, Trayshawn Gore's doing his thing now, so maybe I gotta switch up here. I like Roman Kopylov. He doesn't really know what defense is, but offensively, he's a menace. His head kick win over Chris Curtis was a total ref fuck up by Mark Smith. Calling off the fight with like a millisecond left on the clock, you moron. Whatever, fight of the night, Chris Curtis gets paid, but that one was bittersweet. I'm gutted for him. Chris Curtis is usually a crybaby, but you know what? Even that was egregious. I'm gonna go Marco Tulio. He's a beast. He's heavily muscled. I think he can push grappling here on Kopylov and do good. Kopylov is running into these, just mutant Brazilians who like pose a real physical problem to him. Kopylov's good in a fight when he's like a little bit taller than you. You're just sort of like soft-bellied, like Josh Fremd. Even Anthony Hernandez, he was winging in some really good shots, and almost popped that weed gut. Like, imagine if Roman Kopylov knew that you just had to, raspberry the belly of Anthony Fluffy Hernandez and he'd get TKO'd from it. So, this one's tough, though. I think Tulio's going to come back with a vengeance after losing to Christian Leroy Duncan. Rip Roman Kopylov. I see this as another unanimous decision win for Marco Tulio. Coming in being a bruiser, getting heavy in the clinch, and just roughing up Roman Kopylov. We got Pat Sabatini taking on William Gomis, the Jaguar. Very good featherweights. Pat Sabatini coming off of really shutting down the momentum of Mariscal. Chepe Mariscal, his win streak was kind of getting out of control. Sort of an overrated featherweight in my opinion. One of the best cardio bases at featherweight though, Chepe Mariscal. It didn't matter. Pat Sabatini grappled him so efficiently in that fight. That was an awesome win for him. Pat Sabatini wasn't really an active fighter. Had a really embarrassing KO loss to Damon Jackson where he got kicked in the face. And then Diego Lopez bum rushed him, KO'd him early with round 1 aggro. William Gomis gives up a lot of ground. He loves to play striker on the back foot out of MMA Factory. We know how they love to gouge eyes out, so bring your goggles, Pat Sabatini, for this one. But I think he'll just push the pace. He'll be able to back up William Gomis, who lacks power, doesn't have a KO yet in the UFC, other than that weird nut shot to Giannis Gamori, that Peyton Talbot victim. I'm going to go Pat Sabatini. He hasn't let me down yet. I think William Gomis is his type of opponent where he can get him down and excel. So give me Pat Sabatini to land a submission on William Gomis. Up next is the Hunter. Bisanger Sussy SUSURKAEV against Jordan Santos. To hell with your first name, good sir. You're not going to win. Bisanger SUSURKAEV is an interesting case. 25 years old, so he fights Contender Series August 12th, and then he fights on the Khamzat Chimaev Duplessis card 4 days later. If that's not written into the script like industry plant shit, I don't know what is. His fight against Khalil Roundtree Jr., Eric McConaughey, was a little concerning. Like, he just goofs off, he does dumb shit, and DeJordan Santos is 28 years old, trains at American Top Team, he's long, tall, and capable, but, hasn't been finished yet. This will probably be his first finish. This is the most dangerous guy he's fought. Beat Will Curry on the Contender Series, and Danny Barlow. He was an underdog in those fights, and he still got the win, but he went life and death with Ozzy Diaz, so instant Giga Fade. We're gonna go Bysanger SUSURKAEV. I think he trains with Khamzat as well. I think they're just friends. I don't know what the deal is, but this guy will not go on to have a career like Chimaev. Mark my words. He's more of a striker, and he goofs off a lot in there, just like showboating galore, losing focus. He's not that great, so I'll pick him to win here by TKO. And lastly, your prelim opener of Clayton Carpenter, Jose Ochoa. Jose Ochoa had a really good fight with Loner Kavanaugh and KO'd Cody Durden, who whooped up on Jafel Filho, the last guy to beat Clayton Carpenter. So I'm inclined to get suckered into picking Jose Ochoa based off of MMA math here. Dude, I was high on Clayton Carpenter. He had a good win over Edgar Shirez on the Contender Series. Gimme Jose Ochoa to learn from his last loss against Asu Almalbayev, who was just fucking all over him with takedowns. Slimy performance. We picked that to happen. Asu shot 16 takedowns, just totally marobbed it, and yeah, dealt with Jose Ochoa, was able to stall him out. He didn't beat him. Like, he didn't win in like an actual fight against him, but he won on the scorecards. He stalled him out. He slowed the fight, and he punished Jose Ochoa's volume. So I'm inclined to pick Jose Ochoa here. Clayton Carpenter isn't really that active. He had a massive gap in activity between actually being signed from the Contender Series and his official debut against Lucas Rocha. 3 years and 2 months. That's fucking despicable. Whether it was an injury or whatever, you just wasted your athletic prime. So we're done with him, and the proof is in the pudding. He loses to Tagir Ulanbekov, like, not even because Ulanbekov's good, just because Clayton Carpenter, like, you missed out on your prime, dude, and it's sad if that was due to an injury or you sat out. I don't know what it was, but I know Jose Ochoa is active. He's trying to improve, so we're going to go with the slight favorite Peruvian kickboxer, Jose Ochoa, who is slightly favored by the odds, but when you look at Tapology, massively favored because us hardcores know Carpenter wasted his athletic prime and won't be able to get this done. So give me Jose Ochoa by solid kickboxing display. 30-27 decision. And my violent friends, that is UFC 328. We have Khamzat Chimaev, Sean Strickland, phenomenal card. So happy this is what we're getting. The spring really needs good fights because sometimes the spring is absolutely dead because they stack up the summers so fiercely, like with International Fight Week. So this is a phenomenal card with 2 title fights on it. This is what we need. We need ranked fighters going up against ranked fighters. I might be dropping a rant real soon about the UFC's quantity over quality problem. It's actually getting fucking out of hand. The UFC fell in love with the Apex. They went overboard with the Contender Series, and now the UFC is bloated with low-level fighters. And card quality is now suffering because of it. As always, drop your comments down below. Hope you guys enjoyed tapping into predictions like hardcores. I will see you all real soon.